Welcome back everyone to Blender and Unreal Legend becoming a dungeon prop artist, and this is where we left it off. Now, let's join all these together. Let's move our guy out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join all these together first. So I'm going to press P just to grab them. I'll grab my chest last, press Ctrl J, join them all together now. You can see we do have some problems in there that the smoothing has not come through correctly. And generally when this happens, and this is actually blanked out, it normally means that you just go down to geometry data and you just want to clear your custom split normal. So just clear them and you'll see that actually fixes it. And now they look fantastic. All right, so now let's join all of these up together. So I'm going to go over the top again. I'm going to press B, grab everything going all the way around to here. Press Ctrl J because we've got our gold part last anyway. So press Ctrl J. And again, what we want to do now is put on auto smooth. For some reason that wasn't on. And there we go. There is our actual treasure looking really, really nice. All right, so now I want to actually bring some treasure into this here. So what I want to do is I want to use all of these that I've got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the top, press B, drag, and then I'm just going to press Shift D and bring them over. Now you can see I grabbed actually that treasure pile and I don't want that, so I'm just going to delete it out of the way. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring these into here. So I'm going to bring them a little bit closer. So 7. And normally when I do this, I normally have to make them a little bit smaller. They are normally a little bit too big. So let's make them smaller like so. Now let's fit this silver plate in first. So I'm going to press R and X, spin it round, and then R and Z, just spin it round a little bit. 7, and let's get that into place. So something like there. Let's bring it up so it's stuck out of the treasure chest. And now let's bring in our actual necklace. So I'm going to press G, drop it straight on the top. I'm going to spin it round, so R, Z, and you might want your own overlapping, hanging over or something like that. That might be really cool, cool idea if you want that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it in there, press the tab button, put on proportional editing, and then I'm just going to grab one part of it, press G, and just slightly pull it out like so. So it looks like it's just kind of coming out of the actual treasure, like it's hidden in there or something. Yeah, like that. Now I'll actually bring in this opal. So I'm going to press G, and it's way, way too big as you can see. So I'm just going to spin it round. So R, Y, spin it round, R, Z, like so, having it stuck out of there. And let's put it over here, like so. Now let's bring in the sapphire. So again, we press S, G, G again. And let's spin this around. So R, Y, G, drop it into place. And let's move it along like so. And then let's press Shift D and we'll bring in another one of these. Maybe over there. So R, Y, like so. And then let's put it over here. Drop it down like so. And then let's bring in our diamond. So G, S, G, like so. Have it look as though it's stuck out of there. And I think actually, as far as that goes, I think that'll be okay. So I'm going to make this goblet a little bit smaller. I'm going to press G. I'm going to press R, Y, G, and then let's just drop it in like so. We'll have this stuck out just like that, I think. Yeah, so look at that. And then finally this one here, make it a little bit smaller. Press the S button, and then G, and we'll have that pointing more towards there. So if I add R and Y, like so, and then R and Z, and then just bring it in now. And I want actually this to be looking as though it's, you know, poking up through there, like so. And there you go. There's your actual treasure done. Now let's join all of this together again. I'm going to grab it all, grab my treasure chest last, press Ctrl J, make sure that my normals are still on, and then just have one last look around. Now let's put it back onto rendered view. And let's have one view of it. So A, and that looks really, really cool. All right, so now let's put it back onto material mode. And then what we'll do is we'll come in and name this. So I'm going to press, have I got one that says treasure? Yes, I have already got that. So if I press dot, I can see this is called sphere. I'm going to call it treasure pile. So then I'm going to come to this one. I'm going to call it treasure chest. So it's called chest treasure. And yeah, that should be actually fine. So all I need now is to put these into, so my treasure pile into my treasure chest. That should be fine in there. Then I can close that up. Well, before I actually close that up, I need to right click and mark as asset. I also as well should be checking my asset manager just to make sure that if I go to my props, so I've got a large crate, I'm looking to see if that actually is in there, and I don't think they are. So I'll come back to all, and then what I'll do is I'll see if I can grab, where's my treasure? Let's put in treasure, like so. I'll grab both of these then, like so, and I'll put them into my props. And there we go. They're in the props, and I can click the X. And then what I want to do is I just want to see if they come out properly. That one does. And then where's my treasure chest? This one here. And there you go. Oh, for some reason I joined up. Now I want to split those up, of course. So I'm going to grab my man LP selection. Grab him. Let's call him human, because at the moment it's called treasure chest. So human, like so. And let's drop him back in where he needs to go, which is my human reference. All right, there we go. Let's fix that. Now we'll just try seeing if this is updated. So where's my chest? There we go. Yeah, and there we go. And now you can move it around or whatever you want. Okay, so really, really cool. Now let's put these towards the back or down this side at least, something like that. I think I'll put them, yeah, I think I'll put them around here. Like so. And I'll rotate this one around. So I'll rotate it around a little bit, double tap the A, and there we go. All right, so we're really, really motoring along now. Now, the next one I think that we should have a look at is going to be probably going to be our scrolls. I think that'll be the best one to go through for now. So again, let's go to our actual references. So let me open up my reference. So here are my references, and we can see that we've got one, which it will be under the small props. So if you open up your small props, let's pull it forward. You can see here, this is the one I'm going for. So we've got scrolls. These two are pretty much the same. This one has like kind of a case, so it's kind of in a leather kind of bound. And this one, of course, is open, and it's also got some wording on and things like that. So that's what we're trying to actually replicate right now. All right, so let's go in now. And what I'll do is I'll just hide that over there. Again, if you want to bring yours in, just bring it into, pressing Shift A, bringing in image as reference. And then the first thing I'm going to do now is just hide all my materials out of the way because they're getting in the way a little bit. In fact, what I'll do is rather than do that, I'm just going to grab them all and I'm going to pull them over to the right-hand side. It's going to make it a little bit easier to work with now. Let's press Shift S, cursor to world origin, like so. And now what we're going to do is before we begin, if I press Shift A and come to my curve menu, you'll see we're very limited by how many curves we have. What we need to do is we go to Edit, Preferences, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to, let me find it. So we need to go to add-ons. I'm going to click off this image. I'm going to put curve, and you will have one that says curve, where is it? Add curve extra. I think it's extra objects. Let's just try that one. And we'll also add curve tools. We'll also add that one as well. All right, we'll click refresh, close that down. And now if I press Shift A, I should have on the curves a load more to pick from. That's exactly what I want. Now, the curve that I want is the curve spirals, and you want to pick this one here, which is called Archimedean. So click on this, and you'll end up with something like that. Not a lot happening at the moment, but if I click up the turns and then bring up the steps, no, not steps. Let's think where is the, not the radius. Let's pick up the height. There we go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So now we can see that we can add more steps. So you can see that if we add more steps, we end up with something like this. This is not quite what we want. We want to actually bring in a radius growth. So if I bring this, you'll see it comes out like that. And that's pretty much like a scroll actually is. But then we've got a problem with the height. So we need to bring back the height like so. So now you can see that if we were creating this as a scroll, it would be coming out at the actual ends. Now I want it to go the other way. So in other words, I want the height to go the other way. So if I bring this back, let's say like so, now it's going the correct way. Or you might want it to go the other way. It's completely up to you, whichever way you want to do it. But I want it to go that way so that my actual scroll is coming down here. Now it's up to you as well how many turns you actually got. I'm thinking I'm thinking that actually I want to bring this in now. So I'm going to bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. You see, as we bring it in now, it's starting to look a lot more like a scroll. And then all you want to look at is the actual radius growth. So just make sure you're actually happy with it. You can hold the shift button, and then you can also bring in the radius. All the steps as well. You can bring down the steps to make it not quite, make it more rounded or whatever you want to do with it. I think I'm just going to play around with this just a little bit more. So I'm going to mess around, just looking at the height. I'm going to change that height like so, going inwards. So basically, when I pull this out now, this one here is going to be the furthest in the actual scroll. And I think that's exactly what I want. Now, the other thing is, do I want my radius growth to be down a little bit? Like so. Yeah, I think it's going to look better like that. And then I'll just mess around with the height once more. And like that, I think it's going to make the perfect scroll. Because the thing is, I'm going to use this pretty much for all three of my scrolls. So that's why I want to make sure that it's done correctly. Now, if I pull this up without proportional editing on, that of course will disappear. And now I'm free on the next lesson to actually start creating this into some kind of actual scroll. All right, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.